Get him or just me?
I'm professional.
Say it, tell him again.
Look me
Bars.
directly in my eyes and tell me you feel nothing in your heart.
So beautiful, honey. So beautiful.
No, what I did was
These things are hot. What?
So I just cropped.
Yeah, that's good. I told him that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. Sure.
Gotta crop those videos.
Sure.
Alright, we're rolling.
Okay.
So the topic is going to be things that we see in the gym that are preventing people from what?
Start with.
Oh yeah. This podcast is brought to you by Advanced Molecular Labs. The product we're featuring today is thermal heat fat bearing protein, high amounts of leucine, low amounts of whey, because leucine signals mTOR, responsible for muscle growth, and when you combine all the amino acids at once, that doesn't happen. So, try our thermal heat protein. Topic of the day is going to be: we all work in a gym. We see a lot of people training. We see a lot of things that maybe they're missing out on, and we're going to go over a few mistakes that I see people making of all age groups and all fitness levels. And I think the biggest thing is people aren't really connecting to what they're doing, and they're just trying to move through motions or move through weight. I think they associate, heavier weight with getting bigger. And now that we're in such a powerlifting craze and power bodybuilding, every young kid wants to be a powerlifter. And that's fine because powerlifting is a sport. But I think these young kids think that if they could, squat 400 pounds for one half rep, they're going to have huge legs. And I just don't think they really understand, it's a different goal than muscle growth. And a lot of previous powerlifters who went into bodybuilding will say the same thing. So I think growing muscle is different than obviously powerlifting. And I think a lot of kids who just want to lift heavy miss out on a lot of ways to grow muscle.
That's true. That's true.
But do my shoulders look wide in this frame, or do I have to sit like this?
I'm
just
just
asking.
tiny.
I can't even see.
Tiny. Let
I'm
me
not
see.
even in the frame. I'm not even in the
Wait, let
frame
me
like
see.
this. What the fuck?
Oh,
Go.
oh,
All right.
oh. What's going on here? Stop.
Seizure.
Yeah, but I've seen a lot of people in the gym working out, and I realize, as you mentioned, a lot of younger kids, they they associate working out with motion. Is it on? Because I can't really. Is it good?
The sound changed. Everything's fine.
Yeah.
It's good.
Okay. All right. Better now. Yeah. So as I was saying, I've seen a couple times in numerous gyms, and especially with like younger kids, they associate working out with just motion, right?
Just moving through
Just
motion.
moving through motion, and I feel like a lot of people don't really understand the difference between powerlifting and bodybuilding, and also a lot of people feel like is like peer pressure. You in the gym, there's a lot of people around. You just feel like you just have to go pick up some heavy weight, even if it's gonna cost you.
When was the
some
last
injury.
time a girl saw a guy fucking bench 315 and be like, I'm gonna fuck that guy?
Yeah.
I feel like nobody gives a fuck.
No.
I actually think nobody
Yeah.
gives a fuck. You
No.
can have a kid in the corner who's fucking jacked, who can lift no weight, who outside in the real world is gonna
Yeah.
get more
Yeah.
attention, right?
Yeah.
Nobody gives a fuck how much you lift.
Yeah.
Except other guys.
Yeah, because the
Unless you're
thing
trying to
is,
fuck other guys. Maybe.
oh, but the thing is, what I feel like more people should really educate themselves more on what they really want to do.
Their goals. Their
Their
goals are
goals,
off, for
yes.
sure.
Because if you're in the gym and your goal is to bodybuild and build a particular muscle group, and you come in the gym every day and your goal is to just move some weight, right? You will never ever get to that goal.
For sure.
Because bodybuilding is you're trying to isolate that particular muscle that you're training as much as possible as you can.
For sure.
And a power lifter is just trying to move some weight. They don't care about muscle growing. They don't care about any type of symmetry or anything. They just want to know that, hey, I have the power to move this weight one time.
And both of them are okay as long
Yes.
as, again, you understand the goal. And if your
Yeah.
goal is strength, then maybe you shouldn't be bodybuilding,
Yes.
right? If you just want to deadlift 600
Yeah.
pounds, maybe bodybuilding isn't for you.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
they're both okay. But yeah, I think people have to identify their goal. And I think people just associate, I'm going to
Yeah.
deadlift heavier and therefore I'm going to be big.
Yeah.
And that's not,
No.
there's a lot of skinny people who deadlift
Yeah.
a lot of weight.
Yes.
So yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. So I think The other issue I have is damn, I'm so fucking popular. Let me just turn this off right now. sorry, guys, sorry. The other issue I see is when you look at a lot of other coaches and trainers talk, and they talk about progressive overload. That's a term you hear, progressive overload. Go heavier. And going heavier stress so much, but I don't really like it because going heavier doesn't mean that more tension's to the muscle. So if I'm bench pressing and I'm using, let's just say 135, I could feel my chest contract.
Yeah.
And going heavier, I'm trying
You're
to
not
each week
feeling
go up, and then I'm
anything.
at 185.
Yeah.
Maybe at 185, I feel my triceps, my shoulders.
Yeah.
I'm going heavier, but now the tension's out of the targeted muscle.
Yeah.
So I think when people talk about progressive overload and going
Yeah.
heavier, it still has to be heavier in the
Yeah.
targeted muscle and not just heavier where any
Yeah.
fucking muscle feels it.
Yeah.
So I don't like when people always stress going heavier. Like if you don't have that mind-muscle connection, none of it really fucking matters.
Yeah, because the thing is, you cannot like progress on like your weight if the weight that you're currently at, you're still not mastering doing
sure,
the movement,
yeah.
right? Because the weight go up, but now you're losing all that contraction that you would get
Yeah.
if the weight is lighter.
Yeah,
you know?
I think even having a lighter weight to start with is
Yeah.
better to warm
Yes.
up, better to activate, better
Yeah.
to have people teach how to connect to the muscle.
Yeah.
And then what I tell my clients is once you have a lighter weight that you could feel, keep going heavier, and then when you lose that feeling, then you've gone too heavy.
Yeah,
That's
definitely.
a great tip. Did you
Yeah.
guys do you want me to say that again? I'll say it again. Go lighter, feel the
Yeah.
muscle contract. Feel the
Yes.
muscle contract with almost no weight.
Yeah.
Keep increasing the weight slowly. When you stop feeling that muscle engaged fully, then you've gone too heavy. That's good. Remember that. We'll just spin that as a clip over and over again.
It's all right. It's all right. Yeah, because at the end of the day, you train in a particular muscle group, right? If you like going for like 20, 30 reps is always going to promote more growth. Like 20, 30 reps the right way if you're really feeling the muscle that you're trying to do. Like for example, if say we're training back, all right, and you just going through this motion. You're going through this motion 20 times, but at the end of the day, you're not feeling nothing in your back.
Or you feel like your arms are getting pumped.
You
right?
feel like your forearm getting pumped, your biceps getting pumped, then that should be an indicator that something is not right here.
For sure. And we should
Yeah.
go back to that because I think a lot of people still, when I was growing up, everybody always thought like it was like 8 to 12 reps for muscle, 5 to 10 for strength,
Yeah.
and then 20, 30 reps for endurance. But a lot of us here, we do train very high rep, but
Yeah.
it's not just high rep. We train high rep to failure. So
Yeah.
sometimes when we're talking about 20 or 30 reps,
Yeah.
we have to stop in the course of that, you know? So it's like we're almost going to failure, and then we're kind of doing like a rest pause to pick
Yeah.
back up. So it's not like we're getting 30 reps straight all the time.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people think that you can't grow muscle with high reps, but I think you could. I think it's a
Yes.
missing rep range.
Yeah, yeah.
I think guys suck at it.
Yeah.
I think it's uncomfortable. I think it's
Yeah.
easier to move something for 6 reps.
Yeah.
But I think there's a lot of like a muscle to be, lost by people not doing that.
Yeah. At the end of the day, it all comes down to figuring out what isolate and what contract the muscle most for you.
Right.
Right? Because if you're doing a workout and you're not feeling that muscle that you're trying to work, it doesn't make no sense. You just keep going through the motion.
For
It's
sure.
just a complete. So probably just tweak something. And another thing too, people don't understand. Everybody's body is different. There's some people that's gonna be able to have like a better mind muscle connection with different muscle group. And like the muscle group that you can connect more with, like you can really feel contraction and isolated most, that's normally the muscle group that is gonna probably be
He's so
the
strong. I'm
strongest.
so proud of this guy.
You
This
know?
guy, it's like talking to myself. It's like I can't. So this is perfect. I read somewhere
Yeah.
that if you could stand at rest and can go through the muscle in your body, whatever one you contract the hardest with is probably
Yeah.
the most developed.
Yes.
Whatever one you can contract the
Yeah.
least is probably least developed.
Yeah.
So you should be able to connect to every muscle in your body and
Yeah.
be able to flex it. And the ones you have the hardest time
Yeah.
hitting, you're gonna have the hardest time growing in the gym.
Yeah.
So if people, let's say, have a hard time, and a lot of women clients have a hard time feeling their lats, you almost practice having them flex or pose their lats before the session. Get them really connected to that muscle.
Yeah.
Get the muscle almost tired.
Yeah,
then they
yeah.
can feel it as they're doing the exercises.
Yeah.
That was so synergistic. No, but it's true. So I
Yeah.
think what muscles do you have a harder time connect with? And again, even now it's like, as we're competing and you're competing, it almost comes down to more detail, right? Like
Yeah.
now even today's workout, like your back from the back is huge. You have
Yeah.
great back, great definition. And now we're trying to build your lats up from the front. So
Yeah.
in the front pose, they're seeing more. So
Yeah.
bodybuilding, a lot of times they say all this stuff isn't possible, but it is. So it's like, you know, back in the day, it'd be like, a lot of nerds would be like, oh, you can't grow your upper chest, and you have to. But bodybuilders forever knew that you could target more upper chest, right?
Yeah.
So I think you have a lot of nerdy people that don't grow muscle that tell us how to grow muscle, and it's not really helpful either.
Yeah, because the thing is, we all can read a book. Everybody can read a book and say, hey, the book says this, right?
Right.
But what people don't understand that this book that you're reading does not go towards everybody.
For sure.
You know, just like if I write down my workout program and give it to somebody else, right? Chances are it might not do nothing for that person unless the program that I'm writing for them is built specifically for this person.
Right. Nor do you know if they could activate their muscles
Yes.
as well as you could too, right?
Yeah.
So yeah.
You know, so it's all about trying to figure out what works for you. You know, because we're gonna back to a muscle again. I'm a strong believer in doing if you're practicing a particular exercise, whatever motion, even if me and you working out together, and if you're doing a back workout like the same way as me, but you're not getting any contraction, but you're doing it in your way.
Don't touch my hand.
Yeah.
Like that. This is we're on camera. Stop this.
Yeah, and you're doing it your way, and the way you're doing it, you're feeling more isolation and more contraction, right? Probably that's your sweet spot
Yeah,
that
and-
you should stick to.
And people are so
know?
strict to be like, you have to do it this way with this
Yeah,
hand
no.
position. I think
No.
I think the whole workout process
Yes.
should be experimentation.
Yes.
If I'm with clients, I'll give them like 4 or 5 different alternatives. Like, which
Yeah.
one do you feel more?
Yeah.
Go with that one, right? So
Yeah.
you can't be. Everybody's so rigid
Yeah.
to be like, you have to do it this way.
Yeah.
And you're right. Everybody is. It's so individualized.
Yeah. Yeah, and it all as you mentioned, experiment is
I'm gonna
this
put
whole
my hands like this so you can't keep touching me.
this whole
Need a bigger table.
Yeah.
this whole fitness and growing your body and like building a physique or whatever it's working out or diet, I feel like the whole process when you're getting started is all about experimenting.
100%.
You know, because at the end of the day, everybody we all have a different body type. We all have workouts that work best for some individual that might not work for you. Some people body react to food different from some. So is a process of trying to figure out what works best for you. That's going to help you grow more, and we stick to that formula.
So when you were younger, and you could
Yeah.
post some pictures later that people could see, like when you were younger, and you had to develop. When you were younger, let's say 18, 19, what did you think worked for you then to grow muscle? And then if you fast forward to now, what do you think works for you now to grow muscle? In terms of everything,
Yeah.
workouts you liked, eating, like what do you think helped back
Yeah.
then to grow muscle?
So I think back then, when I was probably like 18, I honestly didn't even. I was just working out to work out. I was just working out to work out. Don't understand nothing when it comes to.
Did you grow though? Did you make some changes?
Yeah. So, but I wasn't really into like bodybuilding
Just more like
at 18.
calisthenics or body or just-
I was mainly because at 18 I was still playing soccer, so I was more like doing like boot camps, running around stuff, and go to the gym and just follow the whoever I'm.
What was
in
your
the gym with.
fastest mile run?
Oh crap! Mile.
Don't
no.
embarrass your country.
No, no. So I am a sprinter, so I don't do long distance.
But you probably in soccer, you probably could have did it decently.
Yeah. So I mean, when I was in high school or even college, you have to run a mile and a half under a certain time before you can even get on the soccer team. Regardless of your talent, how good you are, if you cannot run this mile under a certain time, they wouldn't even consider you. You know, but as you grow and as you change, your goals change. So I'm not playing soccer at that level anymore, and now I'm trying to start competing and growing, lacking body parts that I want. So now I have to switch that goal. As before, I was just doing cardio. And that cardio and muscle growth does not go together. You know, and that's another thing where I realize where a lot of people don't understand, right? That if you're really trying to grow,
This is so good. I was gonna like cut this short because I'm getting hungry, but this is so good that we'll keep going with this. No, it's good.
Yeah.
I'm entertained right now, and I'm
Yeah.
actually in the podcast.
if you're really trying to grow, right? You cannot be consuming your body with all that crazy cardio and hours and 2 hour cardio every single day, because is there's an analogy that I always use.
Oh, look at these analogies. This is like fucking. This is like college right now. I'm learning so much.
No, an analogy that I always use is the cardio. Say you have like a basket, right? You have a basket with like a bunch of holes in the bottom of it, and you're pouring water in this basket, and you're expecting the water to fall to the
But it just
top,
pours
but
at the
there's a
bottom.
bunch of holes in the
For
bottom,
sure.
right? So I that's the same way I look at growing muscle and killing yourself with
Right.
this crazy
like calories in, but
cardio.
they're pouring out of your body, and you can't come out.
Yeah. So if you're trying to the water to the top is
Like a calorie surplus.
yeah. And then no, and then after you're trying to start the water to the top, right? By the working out, building the muscle, but then now you every single day you're out there running 2-3 hours,
For sure.
right? And you're not adjusting your diet to the excessive
For sure.
activity that is going on.
100%.
Nothing is going to
And that's
change.
why I think a lot of these younger athletes are in sports. It's so hard to grow
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
So I don't think people realize, like, you eat a lot now.
Yes.
I coach you. I don't think you even understand what serving sizes are, because
No,
I'll be like,
yeah.
eat 6 ounces of chicken. It looks like there's like 10 ounces of chicken every time. Like, I think you eat an insane amount of protein.
Yeah. And that's another thing too. I've never used to
Measure.
measure nothing. Count calories doesn't.
But
I
that's
just
so.
eat.
This is after this. You guys have to see. If, he'll post some pictures when he's done some photo shoots
Yeah.
from Muscle Tech and Six Star, and you could see how lean he was, which is
Yeah.
pretty amazing considering you never measured.
Yeah.
So when you could learn an
Yeah.
amazing amount of stuff about your body because
Yeah.
you got ready for photo shoots,
Yeah.
just figuring out yourself.
Yeah.
That's pretty
Yeah.
crazy.
So that's where the experiment come in, because over the years
you could have experimented and fucked it up.
that's how it is. That's how an experiment goes. An experiment can be is either it works or it don't work.
But I feel like it always. I mean, you got in shape all the time for
Yeah.
all those shoots.
So like my first probably like 3-4 years of working out was literally just trying to figure out what works best for me. What workout work, like build this muscle group more. What workout like I feel better. What type of food my body react to more. And then over time now, is like I learn it so well to the point where I feel like I've never had to measure anything. It's like I know exactly what my body need and what it don't need. But one thing that I can say, since I start tracking and measuring my food, I realize that I'm getting leaner and I'm able to really hold on to a lot of mass.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at pictures when he was
Yeah.
younger, I mean, he was much lighter. Now you have a lot more size,
Yeah.
and now you're very lean. And
Yeah.
you actually, he was supposed to compete a couple weeks ago, so
Yeah.
you've been very lean for
yeah,
like how long have we been dieting? A while now, right?
a while. Yeah.
Like, you've been decent lean for what, 3 to 4 months, maybe?
Yeah,
right,
and
at least.
it's tough. But at the end of the day, you just have to.
And he doesn't go out. He doesn't do anything.
Nothing.
Just fucking waste of life. Nothing fun at all. But
Yeah.
so, what foods did you think back then were good for your body, and what foods do you think work now good for your body?
Like back then, I used to do a lot of rice and chicken.
Do you do a lot of shakes?
No, so I do like 2 scoops of protein in my oatmeal, and now it's cream of rice. So I'll do like 2 scoops, and then I'll do another one after my workout, and that's
But
it.
you eat most of your protein in real food.
Yeah, but the problem that I think back then was I was under eating a lot, which I still think I'm under eating. And I was in my head, I'm like cardio every single day, cardio every single day. I'm getting lean, yes, but I'm not only losing fat. I'm like compensating muscles with the fat. So now I realizing working out more and doing less cardio, and just from even the change of the food, that by itself did so much.
Yeah, I mean, you're
I'm getting
staying
leaner.
super low body fat
Yeah.
for weeks on end, you
Yeah.
know. And you still, again, every couple weeks, we'll still do a day where you have higher calories, or you have like some pizza, or
Yeah.
McFlurries, or whatever the
Yeah.
fuck
Yeah.
you cheat on.
And another topic that I
You're gonna touch
wanna,
me again. So you're gonna touch
we-
me if I
I'm
had
gonna
you
touch- that we should hit on. I realized too, a lot of people don't understand the term cardio. right? Because
Is this a cliffhanger? I don't know.
No, no, because I realize when you say cardio to a lot of people, the only thing that comes to their mind
Walking
is
or what?
running on the treadmill, Stairmaster, and stuff like that, right? Where cardio is literally just a short term for cardiovascular, which just means your heart rate. So you could go strength, you could be lifting weight and a lot of sets, a lot of reps, and your heart rate is spiking
For
up,
sure, yeah.
and your body's still going through that process.
Yeah. Like
So
a leg workout if we're doing three
Yeah.
exercises in a row or something like that.
Yeah. So I would love for people to really educate themselves more on every fitness path that you're trying to embark on, and not just going into the gym and just going through motions and just doing what you see somebody is doing without knowing exactly what this is going to do for you.
For sure.
Or you're doing a particular exercise, you don't know what it's targeting. Not because you're doing something like this, that this does not mean that you're training bicep.
For sure.
So it's all about figuring out what works for you, what food works for you, what workout works for you, and supplements is a huge part of all of this.
For sure.
And this guy can speak a lot in supplement, because when it comes to that, he's like a guru. So take it away, sir.
I think, again, all the pre-workouts now have a lot of citrulline. We both take a lot of things that give us a pump before workout, right?
Yeah.
We both and the products we take, whether it's Muscle Tech or AML, citrulline, a glycerol in certain products. So we both like things that cause a lot of blood flow, vasodilation. We like a lot of stimulants,
Yes.
which isn't always the best.
Yes.
But yeah, there's a lot to all this. But I think everybody, if you're getting started on a fitness journey, to make it simple is, it's hard too, right? Because there's a million trainers, you don't know who's a qualified trainer. But
Yeah.
if more people could educate themselves on fitness, nutrition, working out,
Yeah.
watch podcasts, follow different people, and have
Yeah.
an idea of like what sounds smart, then when you go to find a trainer, you have right questions to ask
Yeah.
them. And it makes sense. If you guys are going to spend money at a gym membership or on supplements, so many people are so quick to buy, a couple $100s in supplements, to buy the fucking gym bag, to buy the clothing, to buy this whole gimmick. But, you could spend a couple $100s on a trainer. I've been working with a diet coach for the better part of 15 years.
Yeah.
And I pay that out of pocket because every time I work with a coach, every month I learn about myself, and I can help that with my clients.
Yeah.
So if you work with high-end coaches, you can learn so much about your body through that. So spend money on a diet coach, spend money on a trainer. Like, don't waste time. Like, really invest it in yourself to learn the right way, because you won't get hurt. You'll get results faster. I'll be honest, when I started competing, what the fuck is using a blender? When I haven't making shakes right now. I'm so confused. Who's here?
Probably
Maybe Frank. It's okay.
Yeah.
No, I think people need to really spend the time and invest and do a couple sessions with the trainer. Again, I learned more about my body competing than I ever could have learned in any nutritional course in the entire world.
Yeah.
And when I was a young kid, I was younger. I started steroids when I was in my 20s. I didn't know what I was doing. I was injecting this, injecting that. My body changed for sure. But when I worked with a coach, the first time in my life, a high-level coach, my coach now is Fakari Mubarak. I post him. I think he's been a great friend of mine. We missed going pro by one spot at Team Universe. So ever since then, we kind of wanted to rectify that. But work with him the first 6 months, I was on less drugs and my body changed 5 times more. So it wasn't the drug use, because the drug use went down, but my body changed so much from the food. And then I was like, holy shit, like, food is everything. You see your body changing week to week before a show. So people have no idea how powerful food is. And if you guys don't know, work with not some fucking online V-Shreds fucking carb cutting program from that scumbag.
Yeah.
But, work with a high qualified coach whose job is to put people on stage at a professional level. You'll learn more about your body doing a 3-month diet program or prep period than you ever will with all this other information out there. And such a deep intrinsic level of how food affects your body, what holds water, is dairy good for you, what powers you through a workout. Like, you'll figure out all this stuff at such a deep level. I think everybody should work with a high-end diet coach and go through, even if you don't want to compete, go through the process of a prep phase. Prep for a photo shoot. Doesn't have to be a show.
Yeah.
Prep for something where you have an end date in mind, where you're going to do a photo shoot, you're going to get lean, you want to cut water. Like, go through the whole process, and you'll learn more about your body in 3 months than you could doing anything else. I think it's well worth the money. And even think about the last, how you've been really dialing down. Think about how much more you learned about your body recently.
Yeah.
You can maintain size.
Yeah.
You haven't lost size. Your strength
Yeah.
has been up. You've been lean. Like, I mean, think
Yeah.
about even the last 3 months what you've been able to achieve.
Yeah.
And then you can take that to your clients.
Yeah.
So especially as a trainer, every
Yeah.
trainer should be doing,
Yes.
prepping for something, whether they're
Yeah.
going to compete or not.
Mhm. Yeah.
How long has it been so far?
Uh,
13, 14 minutes.
I don't even know.
Uh-oh.
I didn't say the time on me. So weird. You said like 13 minutes?
Yeah.
The learn of the moment.
Okay. Oh, it's not moved. What else?
What is one solid advice you can give to somebody that's just about to start their fitness journey?
Who's a fan? They could DM me. I could write them a picture. I could sign an autograph. If they want to come meet me, they could come to our gym. If you're gonna start your fitness journey, before you start doing drugs, before you talk to your friends who know nothing, before you just inject massive amounts of testosterone, hire a qualified coach, tell them your goals, and learn how to really diet appropriately. Learn what it's like to lose body fat. Learn what it's like to go from wherever you are to 5% body fat. Learn what it's like after a show to be able to rebound healthy and be able to put muscle on. So go through the whole process of dieting for something. I think if anybody spends 12 weeks dieting down for something, you'll learn more about your body than you could
From any book.
from any book, from any
Yeah.
program, from any
Yeah.
course, from any. You'll learn it at a level that nobody can tell
Yeah.
you otherwise, because it
Yeah.
becomes true to you, right?
Mhm.
So I think everybody should diet down for something, even if you want to gain weight. When I started competing, I was 196 pounds. At the end of that year, I was probably 220, and I was decently lean. Because every time you diet down for a show, you're able to grow so much muscle from that compensation. Your body is so starved that all the nutrients you could almost absorb like a sponge,
Yeah.
and you could grow so fast.
Yeah.
I think the first year I maybe did 10 shows. So after
Oh.
each show, I would eat massive amounts of food, and sometimes you can go too much and go
Yeah.
overboard, but you actually build a lot of muscle by like really rebounding correctly. So even if your goal is to gain muscle, I would still diet down and
Yeah.
then have like a 4 to 6 week period of time where I would
Yeah.
increase my calories dramatically. I think you could also get your body fat lower, and then as you gain that huge weight, you're still much leaner. So I think most people want to gain weight by just eating food, adding more calories, and they end up just looking fat and not much
Yeah.
different.
Yeah.
But if I would suggest, even if you're young, if most people wanted to gain muscle mass, diet down a little bit and then spend 4 to 6 weeks eating your face off, and I guarantee you'd have a better physique than if you just tried to increase your calories straight
Yeah.
up. Watch after you do this show,
Yeah.
you're gonna be like 250 lean. No, seriously, it's gonna be crazy. But that's what happens is that, like, it sucks because as you start going to class, like, there's weight limits.
Yeah.
Men's physique, there's not. So imagine right now your weight limit's 230. After the show, you're gonna be 250. Imagine you did 6 more shows. You might be walking around lean at 260. Now you have to come back down. It gets harder
Yeah.
and harder to, and that's why it goes
Yeah.
into bodybuilding. But everybody wants to bodybuild. So
Yeah.
it's like you start gaining weight and gaining muscle mass so much that I hate how these, I hate how the NPC has these like stringent weight requirements. Like if it's classic physique, you should be able to look however you want to. It shouldn't be a weight. You should be
Yeah.
able to just look a certain way, and if they accept it, like
Yeah.
whether you're 212 and I'm 218 or 219, you're being judged on the look. Why do you have to make weight? What if
Yeah.
my bones are heavier than your bones?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So there's so many unfair aspects to this. So it's like, I think you should be whatever weight you want to be, and then you should be judged on that. I don't think you should be forced to, fit into a weight category. I think that's pretty stupid.
Yeah. It's true.
Men's physique, they don't.
Yeah. No, I heard. No, now they come with this new rule that.
Men's physique people are probably bigger than classic
Yeah.
physique. Honestly,
Well, now I think they said after this year Olympia, everybody, even the pros, has to be at like a certain weight because the men's physique now is getting way
Yeah.
too big.
But
you know?
again, if you're getting too big, then just don't award that placing. If someone, it's all based upon placing. So if you're a bigger guy and they're placing you wrong, you're naturally gonna get leaner.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be controlled with the
Yeah,
weight.
yeah. But
But all these judges and all these organizations will say, "Oh, we want bodybuilding to get smaller," but then
Yeah.
don't let the bigger guy or the monster guy
Keep
always
winning.
keep winning. Yeah.
Exactly.
So as
Yeah.
long as like the judging and the people winning, that's
Yeah.
gonna control like the outcome and the shape of like the show what you're trying to do.
Yeah.
So if you don't want women's bodybuilding to be so big, award a
Yeah.
smaller, natural looking female
Yeah.
competitor, and then it's gonna go in that direction.
Yeah.
Like, it's all comes from the judging, So I don't really like the whole weight restrictions. I have to weigh in at 212. I think you'd have to weigh in at 2. I don't know if it's for classic 226. I don't know. I'll have to check what that is for
Yeah.
you. But your first show we're gonna do men's physique anyway, so we can be big as fuck. It
Yeah.
just so it doesn't really matter. And then once we win that and go pro in men's physique, he's gonna compete in classic anyway.
Yeah.
So
Spend like a whole year and just grow.
but again, you have to watch, right? 'Cause
Oh
it's gonna be
yeah,
harder
yeah,
to
yeah,
cut.
yeah, yeah.
Like I was like gonna grow when I got to 245 and I had the first classic Vijay show, the weight was 205. I had to go from 245 to 205.
What?
And now they boosted it to 212, and I think as a pro they give you a bigger allowance, so maybe you could make 218.
That's a drastic.
So I had to lose almost 40 pounds.
Shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was skinny as shit, looked like a little bitch in a t-shirt. So, and I did get competing, but what's up? Vitamins? Are you going? Oh no. No, I have food. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
We should sponsor Wegmans. We go to Wegmans all the time.
All the time. They should.
Mr.
freaking-
Wegman, if you're watching.
Yes. Wegmans, you guys need to start sponsoring us because we
Yeah.
buy you guys chicken breast the most.
And
Right.
yeah,
Do you guys buy the organic chicken or like the family pack?
we like the extra hormones in the chicken.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's less to inject.
So, what else do you feel like you want to touch on?
I think that's it right now. I can't think. It was pretty good, right?
Mm.
And the whole thing goes about exercise correction, you know, what we see. And then I think the next one we should pick is like a completely different avenue.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, and for everybody that's watching this, you guys.
I feel like a dick is in my face. How do you talk seriously? Like I think this needs to be off to the side. It's such a weird fucking thing, right?
well,
Just imagine looking at this the whole time we're
you know,
talking.
he like
Right?
getting don't get turned on. Don't get turned on, sir.
It has to be off to the side, I think.
Yeah,
Ever since
but
you
right.
sent that picture, bro.
Huh?
Ever since you sent that picture.
Yeah, he got that image in his head. Oh my, I'm sorry.
He sent this progress pictures in
Yo.
the group chat.
And ever since, every time I touch him, I see goosebumps. I don't know
bit.
what's going on. Just a
Um,
little. Yeah. So as I was saying, everybody that's watching this, right? Anybody that's watching this, and you guys have any interest in topics that you would like to hear us speak on, feel free to leave comments.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And honestly, people can say whatever they want. Javine is actually a natural competitor, and we're
Yeah.
going to keep him like that as long as possible. And people could say whatever they want, but
Yeah.
we'll get blood work done anytime.
Yeah.
I will go over popular steroids for competitors, non-competitors, my thoughts on them, and why I'm trying to keep him natural. I think the longer you could stay natural and the less stress you have in your organs, you have a longer career in this. So if he could stay natural, go pro natural, and then say he decides to be a pro, and at that time, we have to change that.
Yeah.
You want to take the least amount of stuff possible to have the longest lifespan in this career.
Yeah.
So I think you have to really be safe about this. And if you
Yeah.
could minimize the stress in your body, it's better.
Yeah.
So people can say whatever they want.
Yeah.
Go fuck yourselves.
Yeah.
And
Like
that's it.
literally.
Get this
Shit.
stick out of my face.
Yeah.
Alright, name, Instagrams, and then
You can find more about us and where we train at Pump Fitness at my Instagram, which is at Daniel_Calabrese_. All the links for the podcast will be on my Instagram. Our YouTube name is what?
it starts with you.
That's the same as a podcast name? It's the same? So our podcast name and YouTube name is It Starts With You.
Yeah, and you guys can find me on Instagram at Javane Fit. Yes.
Spell it, because I don't know what to
J-
spell it. Shit.
A
He doesn't even know how to spell it.
V A I N F I T.
If you guys
There
have
we
any
go.
questions about coaching, online coaching, diet plans, also at
Yeah.
the gym we offer hormone testing. So if you guys want to get your hormones tested, if you have any questions about personal training or want to do a session, just DM us and let us know.